Hi guys, Dr. Sabrina Wu here, and today's video is all about matcha. We'll be going over some of the amazing health benefits of matcha, and I'll also be sharing my go-to recipe for a perfect cup every single time. I literally go to bed every night thinking about the matcha latte I get to make the next morning. It's that good. This video will be broken down into two parts. Part one will be going over the background and the health benefits of matcha, and part two will be the actual recipe making part. So, what is matcha and how does it differ from green tea? Because they are kind of similar, but they're different. Matcha is basically a derivative from the green tea plant, but what makes it different is the parts of the plant that it is composed of. So green tea, it's made up of the entire plant, including the stems, the leaves, the veins. Matcha powder is actually made up of just the leaf portion of the plant. So that leaf portion gets ground up into a very fine powder that we know as matcha and that we use in our drinks. So the result of this is that matcha often has a sweeter, creamier taste than green tea. And matcha also has a lot more caffeine than green tea, so it makes it the perfect alternative to coffee if you're trying to wean off coffee or if you're trying to lessen your caffeine intake, but you still want a little bit of that caffeine fix, but without the side effects of coffee, such as the jitters, the energy crashes, things like that. For comparison, saying an 8-ounce cup of coffee has about 100 to 120 milligrams of caffeine, while matcha has about 60 to 70 milligrams depending on the brand you're using. In terms of the health benefits, matcha has so many. I just want to highlight some of the main ones here. When I think of matcha, I think antioxidants because matcha really is an antioxidant powerhouse. Antioxidants play a major role in fighting free radical damage in the bodies. Free radicals are basically cancer-causing chemicals in the bodies, and no matter how healthy of a diet or lifestyle you lead, you're going to be inevitably exposed to some free radical damage. It naturally occurs in our bodies, and it also is something that you're exposed to in processed foods, environmental factors, such as pollution, secondhand smoke, prolonged exposure to sunlight. What you can do though to minimize the chance of free radical damage in your body is increasing the amount of antioxidant rich foods that you consume in your diet on a daily basis. Antioxidants is also so amazing for skin benefits because basically you're giving your skin cells extra protection from the damaging UV rays out there. So that's one way that matcha can benefit your kind of beauty routine. Matcha is naturally rich in a compound known as catechins, and catechins are a type of antioxidant or polyphenol that have a positive impact on cardiovascular health. It helps lower blood pressure as well as reduce your overall LDL cholesterol, aka the bad cholesterol you don't want too much of. Now, the third compound that's naturally occurring in matcha that I think makes it so amazing is something called L-theanine. L-theanine is a compound with kind of dual properties that we're about to break down right now. So what makes it so cool is that L-theanine is a compound that has a big impact on cognitive function. So it improves concentration, it improves focus, mental clarity, but at the same time, it naturally boosts your levels of dopamine, serotonin, GABA, things that kind of play a role on your anxiety levels and your sleep cycle. It makes the caffeine absorb differently in the body than with coffee, and you just get a much more mellow but clear mind when you drink matcha. So we have just overall antioxidants, we have the catechins, we have the L-theanine. Last but not least, matcha can also have a great health benefit if you're dealing with a lot of gut health issues. If you're dealing with a very sensitive gut, some poor digestion, just overall poor gut health, matcha may be a great alternative to coffee. It's going to be a lot more gentler in stomach and in just GI system overall. It also has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, reducing the inflammation in the gut and helping you if you have or are dealing with those sorts of issues. Those are kind of the main star health benefits of matcha that I wanted to share with you guys today. Now let's just get into the recipe making part of the video. So this is something that I make literally every single day, you guys. I look forward to it every night. It's just part of my morning ritual, and I have never looked back at coffee ever since. Let me go through the ingredients with you guys right now. The matcha that I've been using for a good while now is from the brand Naoki. It says fine Japanese matcha. I have two types here. This one's my favorite. I'm almost out. And then this one, it's not bad at all, honestly, but just the notes are a little bit different, which is why I prefer this one. This is specifically the first spring blend organic ceremonial grade matcha. They're both ceremonial grade, so which I recommend because they're going to be a lot higher of a quality and you're going to get a lot more of the antioxidant benefits when it comes to ceremonial grade. So this is the first spring blend, like I mentioned, and then this is the superior blend. What I like about this brand also is that it actually lists the exact amount of caffeine, L-theanine, and catechins in each serving, which a lot of brands don't do. So I thought that was pretty cool. This specific blend is actually made from, or the tea leaves are actually obtained from Kagoshima, Japan, and then this one's actually obtained or grown in Uji, Kyoto, if you guys were curious. And yeah, so this one specifically says each serving contains 56 milligrams of caffeine, 34 milligrams of theanine, and 240 milligrams of catechins, while this one contains 64 milligrams of caffeine, so just a hair more than this one. Theanine is at 32 milligrams, so just a hair under this one. And then catechins is at 264 milligrams, so a little bit more than this. Today, I'm just going to use this one. You need your milk of choice. I like using oat milk. It's just always been my preferred milk of choice. I find it the most neutral in taste. So if this is your first time making a matcha latte, I recommend oat milk. Some people think almond milk is more neutral. I feel like it has a stronger flavor, but you guys give it a try. If for some reason the taste doesn't come out to your liking, I recommend trying it again with different milks because it makes a huge difference on the actual result. Even within oat milks, I find certain brands result in a completely different taste. So that's kind of the fun part, honestly, just experimenting with different combinations of milks and also the add-ins. I'm just using the one from Trader Joe's. It's super easy to obtain. Another brand I really like is the one from Elmhurst. That one's a super clean brand if you're really wanting something very clean, no fillers, no gums. Elmhurst is a good one, specifically the barista edition I like. So for sweetener, honey is kind of my go-to choice. You can use also maple syrup. My favorite, you guys, is the wildflower honey blend from the brand Local Hive. I get this from Whole Foods. I don't know if they sell this anywhere else. I just have never looked for anywhere else. But they have two other flavors. There's a SoCal blend and there's also a clover blend. And wildflower is my favorite because I find it brings out the floral notes beautifully with matcha and it just pairs so nicely with it. And then we also have some optional add-ins. So I like to do cinnamon. So cinnamon is something that I like to add into my matcha lattes from time to time. I'll go through phases. Sometimes I like my plain matcha. I don't even add honey. Sometimes I just have to have the honey and sometimes I'll do this. And cinnamon is, I can make a whole video on this separately, but cinnamon is a great natural way to regulate your blood sugar. So cinnamon's great. And then vanilla extract is optional as well if you want to have a little bit of a vanilla flavor in your matcha. A lot of cafes will do this and they charge like extravagant prices for it, but it's so easy to make. You literally just add a dash of vanilla extract and you have a vanilla matcha latte ready to go. And then also collagen peptides. This is definitely an optional thing. So if you guys want to boost your matcha latte, give it a little bit more beautifying properties, support your joint health, your hair health, skin health, things like that, collagen powder is where it's at. This one specifically that I have is from Vital Proteins. It's the collagen peptides unflavored version, and it contains 20 grams of collagen peptides per serving, which is awesome. And so I'll tell you guys the part of the, I guess, tutorial where I would recommend you add this in. So there's that. And then that's about it. Let's get into the actual making part. Grab your glass, grab your matcha. We're going to, oh, and I didn't mention, you guys, I recommend an electric whisk for just day to day. I also own a traditional bamboo matcha whisk set that I got from Japan, and I love it for my slow, cozy mornings. But generally, day to day, I like the electric whisk because I think it's quicker. You don't have to use hot water to dissolve your matcha powder, and you don't, or it makes it a lot easier to blend in all the add-ins, such as the honey, the collagen powder, things like that, that you don't want to get on your natural bamboo whisk, because I feel like it can ruin the material a little bit. Then I'm going to grab my little measuring spoon. I'm going to do 2 grams of matcha, or roughly, which is roughly about 1 teaspoon total of matcha. So 2 of these scoops. So we're going to sift the matcha in here. So this is half a teaspoon or 1 gram. We're gonna go in for a second scoop. And guys, once you start making these at home, if you aren't already, you're gonna realize how much money you can save compared to going outside for these. Because I feel like coffee is one of those things where there's actually like a lot of different techniques, a lot of different methods of brewing the coffee that actually makes it kind of worthwhile to like spend the money out there. But matcha is one of those things where it's just like a standard method. And so once you realize you can get that same flavor consistency as like a cafe quality matcha latte, you realize how easy it is to make at home, and there's just no reason to go. Although I still go, honestly, just because I enjoy the ambiance of cafes and I like going out with my friends here and there. But for day to day, this is such a great money saver. And it's just fun, I think, to make it. So my matcha's in the glass now. That's all sifted. I'm gonna go in with water now, and mine's already pre-measured. I'm using half a cup of water, and which is 4 ounces. And this is the exact ratio I recommend you guys use. 4 ounces first. We're going to then whisk it with an electric whisk. Make sure all of the powder is finely mixed in. This is where I feel like a lot of cafes kind of miss the mark, honestly, which is surprising. Sometimes you'll see like clumps at the bottom of matcha latte, like that shouldn't be there. So make sure that you thoroughly mix your matcha powder into the water during this step. Okay, it's all blended in. Now we're gonna go in with the honey of choice, which is my wildflower honey blend. I honestly don't measure this step, you guys, just because it's not a huge deal to me. I'm okay with varying levels of honey, but if you're more particular, go ahead and measure that to be the exact amount. For me, as long as all the other parts are precisely measured, I'm okay with the honey being a little different from day to day. Okay, do you guys see how rich and dark and vibrant green this is? That's the sign of a good quality matcha, where it's not like dull, it's not kind of yellowish tinted, it's very bright, rich green. That's what you want to see. All right, that's done. Now I'm just gonna go in with the milk. Oh, so this is the part where I would recommend you do the add-in. So either if you're doing the collagen powder, you want to mix it in now. If you're doing the cinnamon, do that now. Vanilla extract, do that now. But if you're not, which I'm going to opt out of those today, just go into the milk. And for the milk, I am going to do 1 cup, so 2 of these. All right, that's all done. And then I'm just going to grab my ice cube. I got my spherical ice cube, and I'm going to plop that in. Grab my straw. And this is the final result, you guys. Look how luscious this looks. It's all done. That was so easy. So good. So good, you guys. You saw how easy it was to make that. So if you guys like this video and got some value out of it, please give this video a like, subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you join our community here. And until next time, bye guys.